Mrs. Speaker, sorry. God. You know my pink.
No, they don't.
That's your assumption.
It's not an assumption.
You see?
I don't know.
Are you jealous? I want pink, not you. Only you know, only
No, it's not.
you know, like now. You know, I saw this of you.
But I can say hello to you.
I wear pink.
The scarf, you know, the
Yeah.
carpet.
Isn't that right?
That's considered
Yes.
furniture, right?
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we see the whole.
What's Mr. Speaker?
Sir.
Not Mr.
Okay, fine.
We say Mr. The sir comes in.
So speaker.
It's like current status quo.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we see that the Americans should be denied of basic health care. Because firstly, before they actually participate in the extreme sports, they are illiterate, they are literate, they know the risk that it carries. So if they still decide to go ahead with the sport and sign the identity form, we don't see why the government should actually bear the cost of their healthcare itself. And moreover, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that we see there is a need of change in status quo. Because why, ladies and gentlemen, we see that in the American healthcare system, the government is actually spending a lot in investing and maintaining the healthcare system. And because of this, the government is going further and further in deficit. We see that this change in status quo will actually help reduce the amount of deficit and help the government to save more by implementing more efficient policies. And apparently this whole debate until now when I'm speaking, the opposition has really mistook our policy, ladies and gentlemen. We already mentioned that, yes, we would deny healthcare to the extreme sport, people who participate in extreme sport, but only for a month, ladies and gentlemen. After a month from signing indemnity form, then they are allowed to resume taking up public healthcare services, Mr. Speaker. Now, I have 4 main points of contention with the side government today, Mr. Speaker. Firstly is whether the taxpayers' money are being justified. Secondly is the role of the government. On the third main point is about the denial or infringement of interest. And on the fourth point of contention is about the punishment that these kind of people receive when they participate in extreme sports themselves. Firstly, on to my main point of contention, whether taxpayers' monies are justified. The opposition came up and made a big hoo-ha saying that the taxpayers have been paying money for so many years, therefore this money accumulated is enough for them to get entitled to get the treatment, Mrs. Speaker. But they fail to understand that when people who participate in extreme sports, the injuries that usually come along are very severe. They will need long-term medical treatment, they will need surgery, and we believe that since taxpayers actually pay very little for taxes in America, the amount of money that accumulates throughout the years, throughout his paying years, is actually not enough to actually cover the cost of the medical expenses itself, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, they also mentioned that are we going to deny the injured people from extreme sports treatment when they get injured and since they know the risk? Again, Mr. Speaker, we believe we should, because they know the risk, and if it is their choice to actually, if they want to take it, if they take it, they should be socially responsible, that if they get injured, they should find treatment for themselves. Moreover, our policy states that we only deny the person 1 month of medical, public healthcare treatment. After that 1 month, he's entitled to it, because apparently the whole assumption over here is that once you participate in extreme sports for the rest of your life, you're not getting public treatment. No, Mr. Speaker, this is not what the opposition is proposing for. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, we say that the cost, the person who pays the money, they say that the person who pays tax, the money that he received for healthcare is justified, Mr. Speaker. We say that no, the healthcare treatment that the person getting received is more expensive, and it is not justified at all. Okay, now moving on to my second main point of contention about the role of the government. As they have already mentioned, the role of the government is to provide for all, should provide everyone healthcare in America. But ladies and gentlemen, I already said that the America's government, just to maintain this healthcare system, the whole country is going to deficit. And we believe that since you're going to invest more in the system, the cost is unjustified. You've plunged America further into debt, Mr. Speaker. So we see that this is not a very nice thing to portray to your citizens. Down. And we believe that this basic healthcare should actually target those who are really in need, not those who know the risk and they participate in it. And the opposition also brought up that countries should protect the individual and ensure that healthcare is accessible to all of them. We believe that the government itself should only protect to a certain extent. For example, ladies and gentlemen, if a person takes marijuana and he knows the risk itself, should the government then actually continue to pay for his healthcare services, ladies and gentlemen? We see that, right? The person is really knowing the risk and he still continue to take. We believe that the government should have the right to actually come to extent and say, no, this is all you're receiving.
Your first year,
Okay.
right?
No. Moreover, we should say that they said that the government should step in since the person doesn't have to pay. Doesn't have money to pay for the injury since they actually participate in it. We believe that since you don't have money, they don't participate. Because if the government is going to continue paying for them, it will create a sense of complacency that the person will think that the government is always there to help me. It will create like in the Britain welfare system where at the very first point everyone is coming out. Yes, sir.
Isn't that precisely of the role of the government to actually be there for the citizens, sir?
Sir, we say that the government must be there, but to a certain extent, like I already mentioned, the government is really facing major financial crises in America.
So,
we believe that the government should limit their spending on healthcare in this kind of things where people know that there are certain risks down there. As I was saying, in the Britain healthcare system complacency, the people are actually getting complacent that the government is always there to actually pay for the healthcare. Now, on the main part of the denial of interest, they mentioned that it acts like a block and it clamps down interest for people. And as they really mentioned that these people who participate in extreme sports are very of a minority, we don't see that if we do not like allow them in this medical treatment, what much difference will it make in society? We feel that if we do not allow, it will actually benefit the government more because it helps the government to save money in actually spending high costs on this kind of medical treatment, Mr. Speaker. And on to my fourth main point of contention about the punishment that these people receive. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition apparently said that it is wrong to actually not pay for their medical treatment. It's like a form of punishment. How is it wrong, Mr. Speaker, when we see that they actually sign an indemnity form? And we see that how is it wrong when the government has the right to actually ensure that everybody in the country is actually the safety of every individual in the country? You don't see what form of punishment is that. The government is looking after the welfare of the people. It's ensuring that people are safe, Mr. Speaker. And they say that if they cannot afford healthcare, we should just let them die in the private sector healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, like I already said, the policy only extends for 1 month. After this month, the person will be entitled for public service healthcare. And it also sends a kind of message out to the people, telling that the government discourages this kind of extreme sports due to its risk and the cost that will be incurred onto the government. And it also tells people that the government is actually taking care of your interest because these extreme sports have risk. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, go with the proposition as you are about to propose.